Morning, everyone. Let me introduce our teammate first. They are Alex, Bond, Laurie, Jamie, and me. Our project is a real estate development project located in the Makassar Garden Noise, including the preliminary goals and concept site and market research, as well as the plan formulation and the facilitability evolution. And the Makassar Garden Noise is an abandoned area located in the southern Sydney southwest. The project focuses on the renovating unused urban regions through the planning and affordable, workable, and mixed-use community, and taking both potential advantages and disadvantages into considerations for the future development. And the 5 crucial key outcomes could be summarized on the panel. And then we sum up some research and as well put forward our own thinking on the site. For example, the actual building choice are related intimately with the various factors, including the culture, the natural, and the built forms, technological scale of the society, government income stage of the life cycle, economics of the building constructions, knowledges, and imagination. In addition, the house should be designed to take advantages of the best orientation, views, and outlooks, including those to the street. And the site is located in the Campbellton with the history of the 200 years. The Campbellton recognized the 200 years since it was declared a township and the more than 60,000 years of the Aboriginal history in the area. It has a vibrant community background, active market. We aim to create an inclusive environment and a better economic prospects for this company. And the population distribution in this area has a higher level of education than other places. A large proportions of the residents are born in Australia and have low tendency to immigrate. The age structure is dominated by the young people. Because of those, we need to consider the affordability and the flexibility of the tendency choice to suit the young age structure of the market. And the employment situation of the residents in this area is dominated by full-time and the working hours of the more than 40 hours per week. And the land use around the northern part of the site are two specific universities. Based on the situation, the demand for the areas could be summarized onto the panel. And the housing market in this area has a relatively stable investment environment. It should be useful for the attracting the investors to inject capital and promoting the rental market in the area. Through the increase of the capital stock, the production and the operation investment can be used as a production factor to participate in the production and exchange process, having a long-term impact on the urban economic growth. Through the increase of the capital stock, the supply effect of the non-productions and the business investments is more direct, and why the increased housing can meet the growing demand of the consumers. Due to the age and the employment structure of the main population and the gentrification process of the projects in the area will proceed relatively quickly and specifically. And the positive impact and the negative factors of the gentrification are shown on the panel.
There's an opportunity to have a contribution on Workable City. Around the site, there are two main roads to the south and north of the site, which will assume the main traffic function between the site and the city. The convenient transportation network provides the base of the workability of the site. However, if the site requires through type traffic, the prevalence of the residential planning within the site needs to be considered. The noise of vehicles is also an issue that needs to be considered for the build form analysis in the surrounding context. Large area single-family house located other is a sparse apartment house combined with a nature landscape.
For the planning context, two policies are related to our outcomes. First of all, the Western Sydney District Plan in 2018, the social housing needs to be in a range of 5 to 10% new residential house for space, having more complex housing, and to create capacity for more housing in the right locations. Also giving motivation for developers to provide affordable rental housing dwelling for lower income households. Next, inclusive community also need to support more research on the opportunities for alignment with investment in local infrastructure. Then to improve permission living conditions, supporting refugees, asylum seekers, and indigenous youth to move into sustainable employment. After that, creating a number of jobs in the future years, supporting the internationally competitive industries, and attracting visitors to the Western Parkland City can help improve the local economy. And then the other policy is the future directions for social housing in New South Wales. Firstly, a target ratio for social housing is set to enable more integrated communities, then helping in tenants successfully transition out of social housing is important. Moreover, the policy also improved the flexible tenancy choice, independent review of different social housing rent models to address tenant under occupancy of social housings and build more fit for purpose developments. Also extend the careers in caring programs to provide promising living conditions. Last but not least, the Cambodia Grove Center draft DCP has provided some basic guidelines for residential flat buildings to follow. Finally, move to the stakeholders. The main stakeholders group are the community, government, other special interest groups, and the developer. And as you can see, both policies are bring positive influence on community groups and respond mainly by the government.
For this project, the selected stakeholders are the community in Makassar. Community is an assembly of people's life, including shopping, services, and other commercial, but also green spaces and other leisure, as well as political and cultural and religious functions. Proposals. The first one is inclusive community space. The linear space can be used to connect other points and block functional place in series. All the linear and point space can be arranged around a large block space, which is a better method. Through spatial introduction and penetration, the region is connected into a whole. The second one is flexible tenancy choice. Rental communities need to consider more the sharing, communication, life, and entertainment of people in the community, so as to equip a certain proportion of commercial, office area, and even hotel clubs. In addition, public facilities such as health track, community theater, and tennis court can be added, and supporting resources such as schools, kindergartens, and hospitals.
Over the past decades, there is a huge increase in large-scale leasing projects, and these projects are mostly located in the inner suburbs of the city. As its large size and high construction costs, these assets located in the periphery of cities have significant land acquisition cost advantages. Three aspects are proposed to meet the high requirement of the living condition. They are effective administrative management with service area not exceeding 400 square meters, community service, including multifunctional space and community education area, and finally providing large open space for cultural and sport activities. The leasing model has high fixed costs, insignificant cost side economies of scale, and is affected by market fluctuations. Therefore, it can result in greater operational risks. To maximize the housing affordability, the proposed solution applies an asset-heavy model with property appreciation income as a core, and an asset-light model with less initial investment.
Risk. The first one, inclusive community space. The social space is narrow. Community construction does not take into account the actual needs of different groups of people. Relatively weak pertinence. The infrastructure of the community is still incomplete, and the engineering facilities do not take care of the elderly and those who cannot work easily. The second one, limited by the size, large rental communities are more difficult to hire than small and medium-sized communities. Failure to take into account the real needs of the cash strapped. The leasing model is relatively rigid and inflexible, lacking flexibility, and there's a lack of consideration of people's actual needs of different groups of people.
While improving local economy, it will abstract by the unestablished large business circle, and the unemployment rates cannot be eliminated in the short term. Also, they cannot afford the high cost of renting or buying houses because of the low GDP and limited living standard. And this proposal relates to the planning priority W8. The proposal of promising living condition will limited by the economic development, and the living environment needs to be further improved. Second, infrastructure has not fully kept up, and there is still a mismatch between the ideal life of residents and the situation.
Based on the proposed amount of units price, profit at proportion of total cost will be 36%. The proposed price is based on the feasibility mode. The main factor in cost part could be construction cost. When we are calculating, we are using the average construction costs in Sydney, which are $2,600 per square meter for terracing, and $4,050 per square meter for the apartment. After setting all the value, we began to traverse number of units price. At the same time, we will focus on the profit as proportion of total cost. When we found the value had not changed a lot, we start to utilize the universal solution tool in simulation and analyze to find the most suitable price for two-bed apartment to reach better profit. The right master plan illustrates how we propose the apartment and terraces. The perspective illustrates the main apartment type for each building. For instance, middle upper one will mainly consist of 1-bed and 2-bed apartments, and the right boxes are all terraces.
And then this is our reference. Thank you for watching and listening.